This is the Chefs Without Restaurants podcast with your hosts, Chris Spear and Andrew Wilkinson. Each week, we'll be speaking with food entrepreneurs and people in the culinary industry. If you're interested in learning more about our organization dedicated to helping people build and grow their food businesses, look us up on the web at chefswithoutrestaurants.com and .org, and on Facebook and Instagram at Chefs Without Restaurants. Now, enjoy the show. This is episode 10, a mini episode. This week we had chefs Marc Oneil and Chef Dre come in to record their full episodes, which will be airing over the next couple of weeks. Both of the chefs work in the Metro DC area as personal chefs, doing a little of everything, including both meal prep and special event dinners. While we had them both here at the same time, we thought it would be fun to talk to them a little bit about their businesses. We talk about the difference between meal prep versus dinners, pricing, how to connect with your fans and followers, and I talk about Kevin Kelly's 1,000 True Fans. I think this is a great mini episode, and we hope you enjoy it. Also, I wanted to give special thanks to Jugbridge Brewery, this week's sponsor. Jugbridge is located at 911 East Patrick Street in Frederick, Maryland, and they're currently open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So please give them a try. And now, here's the show.
All right, we're going to jump into it. We're here back with the Chef podcast. We're doing a little mini episode right now with Chef Marc Oneil and the Urban Chef, Chef Dre.
Just call me Uncle Dre, baby.
Uncle Dre, baby.
Just call me the bass guy.
And the bass guy.
Yeah, you know.
That's a man. That's a
Shout out to all my bass people. Y'all know what it is.
All right, so the thing I wanted to talk to y'all about today, I see on your Instagram that both of you do it, is meal prep. I don't know anything about it, so I kind of just want to. I mean, I know what it is, but what's it take, man?
I'm going to break it down because I get this question a lot.
Break that shit.
And I just want to say it once and for all to get it all out. The number one rule, don't spend your own money. Everybody tells me, oh, I can't afford it. I can't, how do I do this? Don't spend your own money. Take pre-orders, invest in yourself. Make the food first, spend that first set of money, make about 50 plates. If it's not going to anybody, it ain't going to anybody. But present your product, show people your product, make sure it looks good. And then after that, people start inquiring. Once they start inquiring, require a deposit. Once you get that deposit, you can start your business for free. You do not have to spend any money. That's the misconception. People think that they have to spend money. I don't have the money, I can't afford. Make them pay for it. If you present the product correctly and it looks good enough, they will pay you. They'll give you a deposit. I never spend my own money. That's just about
game.
That's game. That's knowledge.
That's game right there.
Right there. Boom. I just told y'all.
So now y'all know how to meal prep.
Yeah. Can I cuss on here?
Yeah. I was cussing.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a chef. I might be dressed up, but yeah, I'm still with the shits. Yeah. But yeah, don't spend your own money. And when you present your product, present it the best you can. I see a lot of people, they can cook, but their presentation is sloppy, or their content is not quality. So if you don't have quality, clear camera work, it's not good lighting, it's not going to matter. People eat with their eyes. I heard you guys talk about it earlier. Sure. They eat with their eyes. So present them the best product possible, and you'll get the clients. Another thing I'll say about clients is follow up with people. I'm a salesman. On top of being a chef, I'm a legit salesman. I sell myself. I contact clients. I contact people on the regular. If I see you pop up on my timeline, I see your kid do it, say, hey, that's cool, and next thing I know, they're like, oh, I forgot about Chef Marco. Let me hit him up for some meal prep. Build relationships with your clients. It will pay off in the long run. It's just like being an artist. Build your fan base one fan at a time, and you will be successful. And that's what I did. I literally built my clientele from the ground up by keeping in contact with people, doing things for free, and now it's all starting to pay off.
that just reminds me of something I hear a lot on this other podcast I listen to. But behind every they're a restaurant podcast, and we're not really that. But they say behind every great restaurant, and I'll say behind every great business is a great person.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It sounds like you legit care about people. Like if somebody's coming to you and they're supporting you, buying your product, you check in on them, do something for them. Like show that you care about them.
Legit. I build my clientele by genuinely caring about my clients. I literally check on people. I do everything. I mean, this is how I look at it. You get on Instagram all day long. Sometimes I don't even send them a message. If I see them on my timeline, I'll just go like 5 of their pictures. I'm staying in their face. They're gonna hit me back. They're gonna, oh, Chef Marco, when are you selling plates again? You know what? My girlfriend got an event. I need you to cater it. I wasn't even thinking about you though, but when you came by my page, you dropped 5 likes. I remember that event you did for me a year ago. It's simple. There's no secrets to it. All I can speak on is being through social media. My whole uprising is through social media. I can talk about the industry. I was in it for a while, but my success as a chef came through social media. So I came here today to spread light on that and to tell other people that are trying to use their social media to make money. I'm going to legit tell you how to do it. I don't need to, I'm not afraid to tell people because I know, number one, half of y'all not going to put in the work anyway, because it is work. Checking on people is work. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I do Christmas cards every year. Like I have addresses for everyone. I sent out 125 Christmas cards last week and hand signed and like little notes each because that stuff matters. And like every year people be like, oh, I just got your Christmas card. By the way, like let me get some gift certificates for your service. It takes time to do that and effort, but those are the things. Like I do things like I had a customer and I went and did a party at her house and I brought a 2-inch full-size hotel pan. And she's like, that's really cool. I wish I had one of those. I came back home, I went to the restaurant supply store, bought one, it's like $5, wrapped it up in Christmas wrap, and drove to her house an hour and 20 minutes away and just like left it on her doorstep with a card and came home. Like she's a repeat customer, but like, and you have to be okay with even if she never hires you again, that you still did it. Like if you're going to go home and like 3 months later still be stewing about how you bought that woman a hotel pan and she never hired you again, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Like that's the kind of stuff you just have to keep doing, I think.
Also with social media, I've learned to be genuine. Like if you're not doing anything genuinely, people can see it. So like sometimes people do giveaways or people do just things to try to generate business and it's gimmicky. Just do it from the heart. Like you said, you could have recorded that and been like, look, I'm leaving this lady a gift on her doorstep. And I had to learn that from Dre and people being around me because they know I'll be ready to record something. They're like, maybe that's not what you need to put across. But I've learned by being genuine and just doing stuff out of your pure heart and like you said, being a good person, it translates into your business and to what you're trying to do. So I say just be passionate about it. And the biggest thing I want to get across too is as chefs, we have to become businessmen. We have to learn the business side. That's the hardest part for me. I know how to cook, but I didn't know the business. I didn't know numbers, and I was constantly underselling myself or overselling myself, or I was struggling and I was putting in money and I'm like, why did I spend this much and only make, because I didn't know how to calculate food costs. I didn't know how to calculate my labor. And sitting down and learning that and just being like, okay, I can't just be a chef. I have to also be a businessman. I have to learn how to budget my money. I have to learn how to, about my credit, learning, right now I'm building my credit so that I can open a business without spending my own money. Once again, it's about not spending your own money, but especially I'll say for minorities, we always are looking at other people and we're like, well, my family doesn't have a heritage or my family doesn't have a business that is passed down to me. And you know what? Billy doesn't either, but Billy has the knowledge and Billy knew that equity, he could use his equity to get a loan for a business. It's all about having the knowledge. It's not always necessarily about having heritage or your parents having money, because I think as minorities, we use that excuse a lot. Well, my parents don't have a bunch of money to give me to start a business or to buy a food truck or to do, and we kind of take that and we just work in restaurants or work for somebody else. for the rest of our lives.
Being hungry like that will give you a anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you get stuff handed to you, you don't take it the same.
No
way.
doubt.
When you
No
gotta
doubt.
work for it and you're hungry for it, like
Yeah.
the most beautiful shit comes from that. I wanted to ask you, Dre, though. You said that Marco put you on. He put you on game to the meal prep thing. What do you think? What was like the main thing that got you into it? You know what I mean? Like what's the main game that he gave you that made you want to do it?
Well, the main game he gave me about meal prep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but I had always wanted to do meal prep. So I had a young lady hit me up and ask me, "Hey, Chef Dre, I see your food all the time. Do you do meal prep?" You know, I wanted to get gains. So I didn't know anything about it. So Marco, we were real close. I said, "Marco, what can you tell me about meal prep?" I texted him, called him. I kept bugging him about it. And the one thing he told me was, keep it simple. It's like, don't try to do too much. It's one of them things that you can't do too much. And you have to just make it easy for yourself. And when he told me that, I was like, I want to do like 50 different things. You want some lamb chops, some baked fish, you want all this. And Mark was like, Dre, he's like, how you gonna do that by yourself? I'm like, Mark, I got you. You don't got me this time, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's about keeping it simple, but having those flavors, you know what I'm saying? Making somebody want to be a repeat customer and keep coming back. So I learned from him to just keep it simple.
But like we were off mic earlier and we asked you if you thought it was worth it, and would you like?
Hell no, it's not worth it. Hell no. It's not worth it if you have a little bit of clientele. We have a lot of clientele.
The meal prep.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, microphone. I think, see, this is when it comes to building your business. It's just like being an artist. I took it like, okay, before my passion was rapping before this, and I remember literally having one person be like, "When you dropping a new song?" Just one person. So I was like that with my meal prep. I had one client, and every week he wanted meal prep, and what I would do was I would post the food I made for him. I would make it as pretty as possible, and at first I thought I was wasting my time because I was like, off of this one person, I'm really not making no money, and I'm it's not worth it. But literally after about a month or two of that, I got 2 people. Then I got 3 people. So I think it is worth it. You just have to be willing to put in the grind. I think the main thing I can say about that is nothing comes overnight. You literally have to put in the work. You have to.
Right. Well, there's some saying about it where basically like right before you hit is like it's gonna feel like you're never gonna hit.
Oh, and that's another thing. Yeah, I can say that too. I literally was like not getting anywhere. I think I had 1,000 followers, barely had 1,000 followers, and I had one video that like hit 100,000 views, and it just happened at a time where I was literally about to give up. I was like ready to be like, fuck this social media shit. I'm wasting my time. What am I doing this for? I only had like 2 or 3 clients, but I was trying to make it look like I was booming. And finally something just clicked. So yeah, stick with it. It sounds cliche as hell, but stick with it.
So how important is followers? Because there are a lot of people who have a lot of followers who haven't been able to convert that to business. You see people all the time who got 10,000 followers and they can't even pay their bills. So like, how do you make that happen, or can you not make it happen? It's just,
You have to actually have a connection with your followers. Like I said, you have to check on them. You have to have an actual relationship with them. That's all it is. If I have 500 followers and 300 of them I'm actually in contact with, that's more valuable than having 300,000 followers and I don't follow any of them back. I don't talk to any of them. I don't have a relationship with any of them. It's all about relationships. The numbers, they really don't mean anything. It looks good, but I know chefs that only have 5,000 followers and they make way more money because they're actually in contact with.
Yeah, I have 2,500 followers, and this is my full-time job, and I make as much money now as I did working for a job that I had for 10 years. I don't need.
It's not about the numbers.
There's a guy, and he wrote it was a famous blog post. It was called 1,000 True Fans. It was the founder of Wired magazine. He said, you don't need 10,000 or 1,000,000. He said, you need 1,000 people who love what you do. He said, like, look at the Grateful Dead. I'm going to put out, anyone in this room listen to the Grateful Dead at all? Anyone? A little bit. But, like, not really. But, like, the people who love them go to every show. They follow them and will go to like 50 shows. They'll buy every bootleg, every piece of merch. They don't need to be the top of the charts with Old Town Road or whatever like that. They just need those people who are super passionate. It's the same thing. Like, instead of going wide, going deep. And just kind of looking at who are those people that you're going to connect with, and instead of like trying to just spam out 10,000 people, like really like you're talking about like connecting one-on-one with these people. But did you have like one piece of viral content? Because you have over 20,000 followers, which sounds crazy. So like, did you have like one thing that popped that really put you on, and then it snowballed from there?
So I call myself an entertainer. I do other stuff as well as cooking, but cooking is my main avenue. But a video that went viral was my son. It was me and my son brushing our teeth together, and that video got like 100,000. And after that, my business kind of grew because of the exposure. So I can't say it was the food, but once they saw that video, they then came to my page and saw the food. And another hack I could say that really got me business was I targeted the area that I wanted to service. I found the chefs that were kind of popping in that area, and I followed every single one of their supporters. I didn't steal them. I just followed them. If the people chose to follow me back and use my services, that's what they did. But I followed. If I saw a post like Crab Boss, Chef Tobias, Chef JR, my mentor, Kiss the Chef, even Dre, because at the time Dre had more followers than me. I followed everyone's followers. All the people, if they did a post and that post got 100 likes, I'm following those 100 people because I know they're active. So, and that's how I got a lot of traction too. That's how I got my core, I would say, base of people in the DMV, because I reached out, I followed them, and that's how I built that relationship. On top of having the followers for me and my son just being goofy. Yeah.
It sounds like some smart marketing right there. Like, you know what you're doing.
Oh, I'm all about the marketing. This is a long line for me. I had my MySpace was popping back in the day. So I've been doing this for real. I've been working on social media for a long time. I had a pop in MySpace back in the day. I remember all my friends like, how did you get so many?
So you understood that too.
I always understood marketing, and just that's why I do the things I do. It's always a method to the madness. You gotta be willing to be vulnerable. You gotta be willing to spice it up. But that's just me. That's not for everybody, but that it works for me. Yeah.
So the last thing I want to touch on with this meal prep stuff is it usually is based around like a health conscious. When I see meal prep, most of the people actually doing meal prep are like people trying to cut weight in the gym, or like they're power lifters or something like that. Is that right where you're at, or are you doing meal prep for just everyday people that aren't really conscious about that as much?
What I'll say is your meal prep has to be based in something. It has to be based on some type of trendy diet. It just has to, because you're gonna be more appealing. If you try to go against the grain and I'm gonna fall in the line with something. I just choose what works for you. I fell into line with keto meal prep. All my meal prep my thing is gourmet keto. I call it gourmet keto meal prep, and I've stuck with it. I haven't switched it up. Some people are mad. They're like, why doesn't the meal prep get mac and cheese? Why doesn't? Because they know I can make these things, but I'm like, nope. My meal prep's keto. If you don't want that, then you don't want my meal prep. You'll have to utilize me in other ways. But like Dre said, it's keeping it simple and find a handle. Find something that, if you want to do the Southwest diet, do the Southwest diet, but do something that's gonna make people be like, oh, I heard of that. Let me get that from you. Have a theme is what I'll say. Make sure it's important.
Do you have a niche or a theme for your meal prep?
Thing for mine, most times the people that inquire about my meal prep are those looking to gain weight. So for those trying to gain weight, I'm doing bigger portions, and I'm starch heavy most of the time, a little bit more starch heavy, and a lot of protein as well. So I just keep mine just trying to keep you gaining weight, and I try to keep it fun.
I need to holler at you.
Yeah, holler at me, trying
to get these gains, baby.
But I keep mine's is fairly new as well. Like I said, Marco told me the game, and I try to keep it simple. But if you're trying to gain any weight, I got the good food for you if you're trying to gain weight.
And then as far as like frequency, is there different plans, or is it just like you're meal prepping for 5 days a week, lunch and dinner? Is that kind of how just across the board how it goes?
Yeah, once again, keeping it simple. I just do 5 days a week, 2 meals a day. I've gotten offers to people want me to do breakfast, people want me to do family plans and all this. Don't complicate it. Find something and stick to it. If you're gonna do 7 days a week, do it, but don't variate because you'll just confuse yourself. You'll stress yourself out. I stick to 5 days a week, lunch and dinner. If you don't like that, it's not for you. You can't bend as we retailers, our chefs, whatever you want to call us, business people, we try to bend and break for every single client. Just try to find your demographic and your niche and stick with that. I do 5 days a week. That's it. I'm not going to switch it, period. But that consistency, people know when they come to me, they know what they're going to get.
That makes the most sense too, because people need it for when they're working, you know what I mean? Or
yeah,
people
take your 2 cheat days.
Yeah, do your own thing on the weekend. Y'all got time to cook on the weekend. Everybody's got their job during the week, and that's when you need the meal prep.
How much do you have to discuss pricing with people? Because I feel like people have no idea what pricing costs, right? Because when you're doing this, like it's not a quick thing. You have to do a lot of work. You have to shop. You have to plan all this. And I think people think, well, what is it, like $10 a head for a meal or something? And they have no idea. So how much do you have to educate your customer about pricing and cost?
I would say I'm not going to go into too much of why anything costs what it costs with the actual client, but I'm going to make sure that it's sufficient for me. But I'm really not going to break it down to them. But you have to have your prices ready. And another thing I'll say is have like a preset message, because you'll get the same questions a lot, and it makes no sense. And I'm speaking from a social media standpoint. It makes no sense to DM every person and type it up. Have a preset message, and I have that in my notes that I just copy. And when someone's like, "Hey, how does this meal prep work?" I go copy that message and I paste it. It takes me 5 seconds. And people also giving up game. They're like, "Oh my God, he took time and responded to me." And it's like, yeah, it literally took me 5 seconds. I copied and pasted something. So that keeps you from stressing yourself out. But have it all typed out, have your pricing typed out. If you want to break it down, that's a good way to let people know. If you want to say, well, it costs this much because I have to pay, this is what labor costs, this is what food costs, this is what my time costs for shopping. You can actually have that breakdown, but just have it already typed up so when people ask, copy and paste.
Do you break it down, or is it all inclusive? Because I see a lot of people who are like, well, I charge my customers for the groceries and then I charge them an hourly rate. And then some people kind of bundle it together and say, like, this is what it costs for the meal. Like, I'm very much in favor of, like, here's the price. This is what it costs for both the service and the groceries, instead of saying, like, well, give me $200 for the groceries and then, like, $25 an hour to cook. Like, do you prefer to bundle it or kind of let it break down and let them see labor versus food cost?
I say bundle it. Once again, going to keep it simple. Bundle it. What you think?
I'm saying bundle it times 500, 600.
I say
Bundle it. You ask me a question, I'm going to tell you this. Hey, this is my price. And I feel like once I start explaining too much, then I'm not sure of myself. Look, hey, this is my price. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I know what type of food you're going to get. And I know the experience you're going to get as well with that food. If you like it, that's cool. If you don't like it, hey, no love lost. You can book me for another event, or you can book me for something else. But I feel like when you start explaining too much, then they like, oh, well, I can work him, or I can try to change that price.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
So why do you think it's worth it to do meal prep versus exclusive like dinners? Because what I do is personal chef. Like all I do is high end dinners, and I'm charging $100 a customer. So like for my time, I go out and do a gig tonight. It's 10 people at $100 a head. That's $1,000. I can do that every night, 5-7 nights a week. So why would you opt to do the meal prep when you could probably go out and do the high end dinners and play on the high end? Or is maybe that your end goal and you're just not there yet?
I mean, that's a start for me. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that question. I feel like you should have different revenues coming in. So if I'm slow one week, I ain't getting these calls for these high-end clients. Hey, I know I got a consistent 150, 175 coming every week for meal prep. So I know that's the money that I get every week. These different clients and these different events are not always going to be consistent. You have your slow days, you know what I'm saying? You think about summertime. People are done out here. So August is really slow for private chefs, a lot of catering. And I feel like, but you have that meal prep. That's the one thing good about it. I know what I'm going to get every week from you because, you know, we've signed this contract and you told me, hey, I want this many meals per week at this price. So it never changes. And I know what money is coming in. That's one thing I can I can count on that money coming in. I can't count on you saying, hey, yeah, I want to book you, Dre, for an event of 200 people. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Definitely. And then I think I'm going to change that. I don't want to do it anymore. But my meal prep, you sign this contract. We both understand that, hey, this is what you're getting. If you want to change anything up, if you want to switch the protein that week, you contact me, we change that. But I know that's consistent money coming in.
It's cash flow.
Exactly.
It's almost like meal prep is almost like mailbox money.
Yeah.
You still got to put in work, so it's not like you wrote a book and you just get paid for the next 20 years. But at the same time, I would ask you because if I'm not wrong, you working. I mean, you might have to shop on one day, but you cook all your meals on one day, right? Probably Sundays.
Yeah. Right,
so I could ask you, Chris, how come you're not doing meal prep?
Because it's not worth my time. Because I'm doing like 3 to 4 gigs a week, making I can pull in $4,000 a week doing 4 dinners. Like, there's no time doing meal prep that's going to be worth it. I'd rather work hard 1-2 days a week and spend 4 or 5 days a week marketing, building my clients. And I'll put this out to everyone, like, no secret. This is what I do. Like, right now, the Airbnb thing is hot. Find the Airbnbs because they're doing events every single day. Like, almost all my business. Like, I'm putting all my time. Like, go on Airbnb's website, spend 4 hours and look at all these places and DM the owners and be like, here's me, here's what I do. Who are you using for chefs? When people book your place, keep me in mind and just go on. Like, find them on Instagram. We're talking off mic. Andrew and I literally just got an email. Someone said, hey, I'm going to be booking this place. It's an Airbnb. I found them through your Instagram because you did an event there. So now I've booked it for January. I want you to come out and do a dinner for me. That's the thing, because people, all the bachelorette parties, that's year round. Gatherings with your friends, it's not just holidays and stuff. Every single weekend of the year, people are doing events and they're renting these like really cool, hip Airbnbs all over. And those places, because I'm seeing more movement in experiential, like people are buying these cool farmhouses in the middle of wine country, right? There's no restaurants. So people are going to come from DC or Baltimore to stay in this like cool little farmhouse and go wine tasting. Where the hell are they going to eat? They need to hire a chef. So you're actually doing a service by contacting the owners of these Airbnbs and saying, listen, you look like you got a cool spot. I'm sure you got a ton of people who come out there every single weekend to do wine tours. Could you put my info on your website so that when people are looking at spots, there's a chef? That's your business. That's my whole business. Like, I don't mind right now coming out doing a dinner for 2. It's an anniversary, but like my whole business model. And once again, Andrew will tell you, like, we were at this mansion in West Virginia. We cooked for some soccer players. Like, she was on the World Cup winning team. She plays for Orlando Pride, Allie Krieger. Shout out to Allie for listening. It was her bachelorette party, and it was like 12 girls, and they wanted to have a good old time and go do some wine tasting, but they wanted a chef to come in and do like a full-blown dinner in this mansion in West Virginia. I could do that every night of the week, and so then after the event, then you got to reach out to the owner of that Airbnb and say, hey, I was at your place on Saturday. I don't know if you know anything about me, but I would love for you to keep me in mind for when you have other events. Now you're like the exclusive chef at that place. That's how I run my business. Like, I don't want to be doing meal prep. So, I'm an open book. I tell people all the time, I'll share all my knowledge. That's kind of what's working for me. And I think within our group, then we can all be capitalizing on each other's things so that when this Saturday I have a gig and someone contacts me, if I can't do the gig, I want to post it up to one of you guys and say, go take this. So we can start job sharing. We can stop using Thumbtack and Angie's List and all these referral things that charge $30 to $100 a gig. I think there's enough love to go around. I think you had said it, like, there's enough love and business to go around that we don't need to be hoarding all that. If I can't do a job, share the love. That's my 2 cents.
We're almost at $1 now between the 4 of us.
Hold on. But to big up meal prep one more time, the only thing I can say about it too is the convenience of cooking in your commercial kitchen and not always necessarily having to travel. And that, like, for example, I can do my meal prep and help my son with his homework. So that's one of the reasons why meal prep works for me, because it allows me to still I'm working for my business, but I'm still being able to parent and do other things too. So that's a part of why meal prep is I can't let it go, because of the flexibility that it gives me, as well as the consistent money. Just back off that.
I might get into that just for the cash flow, to be honest with you.
Cash
I
flow
don't see
is
anybody
consistent.
out here in Frederick. I don't really see anybody doing meal prep. I mean, unless they're doing it for themselves. I don't know a whole lot of people that are doing it. But anyway, we're gonna sign off on this. Thank you, Chef Dre, for sticking around. Thank you, Chef Marco, for putting in your 2, 5, 20 cents.
Yeah, I put in a 50-cent piece.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Gotta chill.
If you got anything to add to this conversation, as a listener or whatever, definitely shoot us an email or hit us up on the Instagram or whatever. Chefs Without Restaurants, chefswithoutrestaurants@gmail.com. And thanks for listening. Catch y'all later.
Thanks for listening to the Chefs Without Restaurants podcast. And if you're interested in sponsoring a show, let us know. We can be reached at chefswithoutrestaurants@gmail.com. Thanks so much.